Hey guys, welcome back for another video. It's time for our quick picks. We're going to run through all of our top 25 matchups we have coming up this Saturday, week 13 of the 2025 college football season. We're going to run through them as quickly as possible. Buckle up. We're going to predict the outcome, the winner, loser, final score. The goal, have every single game. There's like 19 top 25 matchups. We're going to try to have it all wrapped up within 15 minutes, so make sure to buckle in, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below. What's your favorite game coming up this weekend? Who do you think is going to win the biggest matchups? Leave your comment in the comment section. Let's jump right in it. We're going to have to move really quick. The very first one kicking everything off on Fox at 12 p.m. The 5-5 Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Obviously, Rutgers, Greg Schiano, disciplined team. Calamanis actually having a pretty decent season passing the ball down the field. But unfortunately for them, they're going up against the defending champions, the number one, the undefeated, the 10-0 Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes, 96.9% chance to win 31.5-point favorites. That is a massive spread, even with the injury. Smith, Tate, the Buckeyes are covering all the spreads here, but you have Michigan coming up next week. There's no reason to run the score up. Get your starters out after the first half. You're going to win this game easily. Buckeyes 37.5 points a game, only giving up 7.5. The number one defense in the country this season. Number one defense last year. Number one defense again. Top three overall roster, saying slinging it up and down the field. Keep that wide receiver core healthy. Work on the ground game, the ground and pound. The Buckeyes cruise the win, get the starters out at halftime. They win 37-14. And on the SEC network at 12 p.m., 1 and 10 Sanford. Sanford, they don't have a good offense. They don't have a good defense. A very easy game versus number 3, the Texas A&M Aggies. Leading up to that matchup versus Texas next week, this is a good game to keep your starters healthy. Make sure to keep that offense rolling. Fell behind first half last week. Things went as bad as they could, but you got the win. That's all that matters. 99% chance to win, 54.5 over under, 37.1 points a game. Owens, Marcel Reed slinging it up and down the field. Concepcion, Craver, get everyone through this game. They cruise to an easy win, 55-10. Staying in the SEC, 12 p.m. on ABC. Welcome back to Top 25, number 22, the Missouri Tigers, 7-3. They don't have Perbula, though. Massive loss. The true freshman Zoller starting. He's struggling to push the ball vertically down the field on the road versus number 8, the Oklahoma Sooners, 8-2. The season is still alive. They have a shot to make the playoffs here, coming off that massive upset win last week. Sooners, 7.5-point favorites, 41.5 over under. We all know what carries this team. It's that front seven. They're only giving up 14.8 points a game. That's a top 10 defense in the nation. Zollers is going to be under pressure the entire day. I don't think that bodes well. Hardy, one of the best running backs in the nation, leading the nation, 1,400 rushing yards, but I don't think he'll be able to run on Oklahoma. Sooners win this one, 28-17. ESPN, 12 p.m. Number 13, the Miami Hurricanes, 8-2. Miami has zero options. They have to win every single game. Might not make the ACC championship. It is possible, but they have the option to get an at-large. They have to handle business, get as close to Notre Dame as possible. They're on the road versus 3-7 Virginia Tech. This was a shootout last year. Miami, though, number 7 defense in the nation, 90.2% chance to win. 17.5-point favorites, 48.5 over under. Carson Beck. Since they got Pringle at running back, they've been spreading the ball out. This is the best version of Miami, what you saw last week. They have to keep that momentum. They need style points. They're averaging 33.7, giving up 14.2. The number 7 defense, Virginia Tech, drones. They are a run-focused team running into that Miami front seven. They're going to be under pressure the entire day. They don't have a good overall offense. They want to upset here Blacksburg. They have James Franklin in attendance, but he's not coaching. Give me Miami winning this one handily, 38-17. 12:45 p.m. on the SEC Network. 1 and 9 Colette. This is one of the worst teams in the entire country on the road versus number 4, the 9-1 Georgia Bulldogs, potentially looking at an SEC championship. Potentially, if things don't go according to Alabama's way. Georgia 43.5-point favorites, huge spread, 53.5 over under. Stockton's playing well. Stockton, he's a clutch guy right now. Frazier starting to run the ball well. Feed the ball to Branch. Georgia 99% chance to win. They're averaging 33.6, giving up 18.8. Not your typical Kirby Smart defense, but the team is starting to get hot when you need it second half leading up to the playoffs. Georgia, very scary team, top 3 overall roster. They cruise here, but get those starters out. Prepare for Georgia Tech next week. You don't want to drop that one. Probably not going to drop that one. Bulldogs win this one 48-6. And on the SEC Network Plus at 2 p.m., 3 and 8 Eastern, Illinois University. How does Alabama get an FCS FBS game in Week 13? Crazy stuff, but that's the way they kind of set it up every year leading up to the Iron Bowl. Alabama, number 10, coming off that loss. They have to rebound. They need a convincing win. They have to get the ground game going. They've been failing to run the ball consistently for weeks now. We've been calling them out on it. One of the best passing attacks in the country, but you won't win being one-dimensional. Bama's 8-2, 99% chance to win, 31.6 points a game, giving up 17.8. Ty Simpson, great season, 22 touchdowns, 2 picks. Bernard, Ryan Williams, but it's all going to come down to Miller and Grubbs, DeBoer dialing up great adaptive rushing attacks. Practice now because Auburn's going to give you a fight next week. Bama rebounds. They beat up the FCS team 58-10. We can't wait for this one. The game of the weekend, one of the best games of the year, one of the funnest games offensive wise of the season. 3:30 p.m. CBS 8-2, number 15, the USC Trojans. This is a play-in potentially for the playoffs. They have to win this game on the road versus number 7, the 9-1 Oregon Ducks. Oregon sitting at number 7 right now. This is also a game they probably have to win to get in. Ducks 71.9% chance to win, 9.5 point favorites, 59.5 over on Dan Lanning versus Lincoln Riley. There's going to be some points, talented rosters. Mayaba, Miller, Lemon, Lane, great weapons on the Trojan side, 38.2 points a game, giving up 21.7. D'Anton will have his work cut out for him for Oregon. Top 10 overall roster loaded. Dante Moore slinging it up and down the field. One of the best top 5 rushing attack in the nation. 39 points a game. They're running for 234 yards per game, only giving up 13.7. That's a top 10 defense. Can they own the trenches? This is a great offensive line, potentially the number 1 offensive line in the nation. I think that's what makes a difference. Trojans had some tough games. They fought in the trenches and they've won, but I think it runs out this weekend. Ducks inch by 35-27. NBC 3:30 p.m. 3-7 Syracuse have to feel bad for Fran Brown's team since they lost Angeli. This team has not been able to offensively move the ball on the road versus number 9, the 8-2 Notre Dame Irish. A lot of people mad that they're number 9. It is what it is as of right now. Let's wrap this season up. The Irish 97.4% chance to win, easily one of the hottest teams in the nation. The offense is moving the ball. Carr, Love, Price, the best running back 1-2 combo. Fields, face in so many veteran weapons on the offensive side. Irish 35.5 points a game, 50.5 over under. 38.5 points per game they're scoring, giving up 18.4. The defense starting to look like last year's defensive team. Syracuse, they will not be able to move the ball. The Irish win this one 42-13. Moving over to the SEC at on ESPN 3:30 p.m. 5-5, the Kentucky Wildcats. Mark Stoops, he's going to have to bring his A game here on the road versus number 14, the Vanderbilt Commodores 8-2. Vanderbilt, you have to win out to have any type of shot to make the playoffs here. You don't have any top 25 wins outside of Missouri, who's probably going to lose this weekend. Vandy 9.5 point favorites, 53.5 over under. Pavia. He's like 75% of this team's offense. He's slinging it up and down the field. He has 600 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, doing everything this year. 38.3 points a game, giving out 22.2. They don't have the best overall defense. Stoops and the Kentucky might be able to move the ball, but I don't think they'll be able to outscore Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt sets up a great game next week versus the Tennessee Volunteers. Commodores win this one 28-21, keep their playoff hopes alive. And this is honestly a pretty frightening game. ABC 3:30 p.m. 2-8 Arkansas. Yes, their record is awful. Yes, their defense is a complete joke. They can score some points. Taylon Green, 2,600 yards, almost 800 rushing yards. He's doing everything this team. They're on the road versus number 17, the Texas Longhorns 7-3. Where's Texas's mind space right now? Where's their head at coming off that loss from last weekend? Are they able to rebound, get things back on track? Or do things start to spiral just like Penn State did this season? Longhorns 83.1% chance to win, 9.5 point favorites, 57.5 over under. Arch Manning, you have to be more accurate. We need to develop some type of rushing attack. Wingo and the offense can't do everything. You have to run the ball in the trenches. Arkansas 34.1 points a game. Longhorns 27.6, giving up 18.3. Talented team, top 5 overall roster. Playmakers up and down the field. They have to correct the offense. They're struggling to score, but thankfully for them, everybody can score versus Arkansas. Texas wins 30-26, and they stay alive. 3:45 p.m. ESPNU. Number 24. Welcome back to the top 24. Tulane 8-2 on the road versus 5-5 Temple. These teams are actually pretty evenly matched. Tulane 66.4% chance to win, 7.5 point favorites, 56.5 over under. Retzlaff, since he transferred over from BYU, he can throw it, he can run it. They're going to play time of possession, keep the ball away from Temple. They're averaging 28 points a game, giving up 26. Temple 29.6 points a game, giving up 26.7. There's really no team that has a great advantage on the other. Temple keeps the turnovers low. Potential upset alert. But I think Tulane keeps their group of 5 playoff hopes alive. They win 28-24, close game. Fox 4 p.m. 6-4 TCU. Sonny Dykes. This team can score some points. Hoover, though, whenever the game is on the line, stop fumbling the ball. They're going to be on the road versus number 23. Welcome back to the top 25. Houston Cougars 8-2. Houston 46.8% chance to win. The Horned Frogs 53.2, practically a 50-50 split. Right now, Houston 1.5 point favorites, so pretty much a spread. So TCU So Houston, 1.5 point favorite. So basically a pick. I'm 55 over under Hoover. This team can move the ball vertically down the field, 30.7 points a game, throwing for 291 and giving up 26.5. Houston, Fritz has completely flipped this roster, and it's starting to show this season, 29.5 points a game, giving up 22.2. And they have the veteran Connor Wigman, 18 touchdowns, 7 picks. I think they could potentially drop this game. I'm leaning TCU pulling off the upset 31-27, but this is one of those games, it's a 50-50. It could go either way. Staying in the Big 12, 4 p.m. ESPN2, 5-5 Kansas State. Don't underestimate Avery Johnson and Kansas State. They're actually a lot better talent-wise than their record this season. They just haven't lived up to expectations on the road. Versus number 12, the Utah Utes, 8-2. Colin Whittingham, second longest tenured coach in the country. Utah, very difficult team to beat at home. 88.6% chance to win. 17.5 point favorites. Huge spread. 52.5 over under. Avery Johnson, the highest recruited player in Kansas State history. But Utah, Devin Dampier, this is the best I've seen their offense look in like 2 decades. And they have a top 10 overall defense. They have a top 5 offensive line, 41.1 points a game, running for 270 yards. They're going to bludgeon you at the line of scrimmage. They're physical. They're tough. They play time of possession. They'll have the fans at their back. They're only giving up 15.6. Utah runs away with this game 35-17. The Big Ten Network, 4 p.m. Number 18, the Michigan Wolverines, 8-2. You have the Buckeyes next week, one of the biggest games of the entire season for college football. Stay at 9 wins. It's going to be a huge game, a potential play-in for Michigan to make the playoffs if they were to upset Ohio State. It's a little bit of a stretch there, but hey, they've been beating them for the last couple of years. They're on the road versus 4 and 6 Maryland Terrapins. Michigan, 82% chance to win, 13.5 point favorites, 45.5 over under. Michigan cannot throw the ball again, but they do run the ball. One thing that I appreciate about them, they force their opponent, no matter who they are, to play their style of bully ball. They're averaging 27.7 points a game, only giving up 17.7, running for 223. Maryland doesn't have the bodies at the line of scrimmage. Michigan controls the trenches. They win 27-17, setting up a huge game next week versus the Buckeyes. 7 p.m. on ESPN, 7-3 pick coming off loss last week versus number 16, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 9-1. They continue to survive. They find ways to pull games out of complete defeat. They're still alive in the ACC. They want to, if they lose this one, it's going to be complete chaos in the ACC. Even Miami potentially could come back and make the ACC championship. Georgia Tech, 57% chance to win, 2.5 point favorites. Pretty low spread, 62 over under. Pitt can move the ball. Narduzzi has a great offense, 37.2 points a game, giving up 23.3. Georgia Tech, 36 points a game, throwing for 272, running for 225, giving up 24.2. Neither of these teams play great defense. You have Haynes King on the other side, throwing it, running it, 14 rushing touchdowns, almost 900 rushing yards. I don't trust their defense. I'm going to go out on a ledge. Pitt pulls off the upset 34-27. Let's have some chaos. ABC, 7:30 p.m. Number 20, the Tennessee Volunteers, 7-3. Josh Heupel, great offensive mind on the road versus 3-7 Florida Gators in Gainesville. One thing you've noticed about the Gators, they're putting up a fight every single game this season. Tennessee, 65% chance to win. This is a rivalry game. These teams hate one another. Volunteers, 4.5 point favorites, 57.5 over under. Joey Aguilar, what he's doing in this offense, great stuff. 43.4 points a game, top 3 offense, giving up 28.9. Their defense is really bad, but Florida's struggling to move the ball. DJ Lagway, 13 interceptions this season. They average 20.8 points a game, giving up 23.6. Great defense, but they get wore out. Tennessee gets the win on the road, 32-24. Back to the Big Ten Network, 7:30 p.m. Welcome back to the top 25, the Fighting Illini, number 21, 7-3 on the road versus 3-7 Wisconsin. Wisconsin, Luke Fickell, his seat is on fire. Thankfully for him, so many coaches have been fired. He is still surviving. Illinois, 71.9% chance to win, 7.5 point favorites, 40.5 over Luke Altmaier, third year in this scheme. He's having a great year, 21 touchdowns, 5 picks, 32.2 points a game, giving up 23.9. Wisconsin might be the worst. Well, no, it is the worst offense in college football. 12 points a game. It's kind of pathetic. Illini win this one 28-17. 8 p.m. on Fox. This has upset alert written all over it. Number 11, BYU, 9-1 on the road versus 7-3 Cincinnati Bearcats. They want to get back in the top 25. BYU win out, and you can have a rematch with Texas Tech. 67.7% chance to win. 2.5 point favorites. Very close spread here. 54.5 over under. How about Bear Bachmeyer? 2,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. The guy's 260 pounds, hard to tackle. BYU, very physical line of scrimmage team. 34.1 points a game, giving up 17.8. Solid overall team here. They need this win to stay alive. Cincinnati solid team. Sorsby having a great year. 34.4 points a game, giving up 22.7. Both teams love to run the ball. I trust BYU in the trenches. They win this one 27-24. Keep your eye on Cincinnati, though. There's a high potential for an upset. And our final game, ESPN2, 8 p.m. Welcome back to the top 25. Number 25, Arizona State 7-3. They are ranked, but they don't have Sam Levitt. I don't quite understand that. On the road, versus 3-7 Colorado. Thankfully for the Sun Devils, Colorado is pretty bad this year. They have a 63.2% chance to win, 7-point favorites, 48.5 over. So many unknowns with Kenny Dillingham's team. Great overall roster, but they have missing pieces everywhere. 24.7 points a game. They don't move the ball, giving up 23.6, but Colorado, they're worse. 22 points a game, giving up 30. Sun Devils win this one 30-20. Guys, that's our quick picks. We ran through every top 25 game as quickly as possible. Thanks for sticking with us. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below. What's your favorite games this weekend? Who do you think is going to win the biggest matchups? If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, check out that pinned comment below. And as always, thank you for watching.